Urban art evolution. Our cities are telling a story. It's written on brick, sprayed on steel, and pasted onto concrete. Before we had galleries, before we had museums, we had walls. And for as long as we've had walls, we've had the undeniable human urge to leave our mark on them. This impulse, this need to communicate, to declare I was here, is the ancient seed from which the entire sprawling, vibrant ecosystem of modern urban art has grown. It's a story that begins not in a trendy downtown alley, but deep within the earth, in the flickering torchlight of prehistoric caves. The bison and handprints on the walls of Lascaux or Altamira were, in essence, the very first public murals. They were a community's shared visual language, a way of understanding their world and their place within it, broadcast on the most permanent canvas they had. Millennia later, the Romans were scrawling political commentary, advertisements, and personal messages on the walls of Pompeii, the direct ancestors of today's graffiti tags. The medium was the same, a public surface. The intent was the same, to be seen, to be heard. But to truly understand the urban canvas of today, we have to leap forward to the 20th century, a period of immense social and political upheaval that would forever change the face of our cities and the art within them. In the wake of the Mexican Revolution, a powerful movement known as Mexican muralism exploded onto the scene. Artists like Diego Rivera, José Clemente Orozco, and David Alfaro Siqueiros were commissioned by the government to paint the nation's history, struggles, and aspirations directly onto the walls of public buildings. This was a radical act. It was a conscious decision to reject the elitist, exclusionary world of the European art gallery and create a people's art. The murals were vast, narrative, and unapologetically political, accessible to every citizen, regardless of their literacy or social standing. They established a crucial precedent that a wall could be a powerful tool for education, for fostering national identity, and for giving a voice to the voiceless. This idea that art belongs in the public square would resonate across the globe. Simultaneously, a different kind of revolution was brewing on the streets of North America. In the late 1960s, in Philadelphia and New York City, a new form of expression began to emerge from the youth of marginalized communities. It started simply with kids writing their nicknames, or tags, on walls and, most importantly, on the city's subway trains. Figures like Cornbread in Philly and Talkie 183 in New York became local legends, their names crisscrossing the city, a testament to their existence in a society that often rendered them invisible. This wasn't state-sponsored art. It was the exact opposite. It was an illicit, grassroots movement, a raw cry for recognition. The subway system became its lifeblood. A train car tagged in the Bronx would travel to the heart of Manhattan and out to Brooklyn, a moving gallery showcasing the artist's name and style to the entire city. This was the birth of modern graffiti, and it was a declaration of war on blank space. What followed was an explosion of creativity known as the Style Wars. Simple tags evolved into elaborate pieces with complex lettering, vibrant colors, and cartoon characters. Artists pushed the boundaries of what was possible with a spray can, developing intricate styles like wild style, a form of lettering so complex it was nearly illegible to outsiders. For these writers, it was fame, style, and rebellion. For the city authorities, it was vandalism, a symbol of urban decay. The resulting conflict, the city's relentless effort to clean the trains, and the writers' equally relentless drive to paint them, only fueled the movement's creative fire. The perception began to shift, however, as the energy of the streets started to seep into the mainstream art world. In the 1980s, artists like Keith Haring, with his iconic radiant babies and barking dogs, and Jean-Michel Basquiat, with his neo-expressionist crowns and cryptic text, acted as crucial bridges. They started on the streets, using the city as their laboratory, but their unique visions were so powerful they couldn't be ignored by the gallery system. They proved that the raw, untamed energy of graffiti culture had a legitimate and profound place in the history of art. This opened the floodgates. The term street art began to emerge, a broader category that encompassed not just spray-painted lettering, but also stencils, wheat-paste posters, stickers, and eventually large-scale murals. An artist like Banksy, with his stenciled, politically charged, and often humorous interventions, catapulted street art into the global consciousness. His anonymity and clever placements made the entire world his audience, proving that a single image on a wall could generate more conversation than an entire gallery exhibition. As public perception softened, cities themselves began to change their tune. What was once a costly nuisance was now being viewed as a potential asset. Programs like Philadelphia's Mural Arts Program, initially founded in 1984 to combat the graffiti crisis, began commissioning artists to create stunning murals, transforming blighted neighborhoods and fostering community pride. The outlaw had become the celebrated visionary. The journey from a clandestine tag on a subway car to a building-sized, city-sanctioned mural was complete. This evolution set the stage for the modern era, where art is not just the city, but is an active force the city tell. Block 2. Impact and Interaction. So, the evolution is clear. Urban art has fought its way from the margins to the mainstream, from a symbol of decay to a tool for renewal. But what happens next? What is the real, tangible effect when a city embraces its role as an open-air gallery? The impact is nothing short of profound, reshaping not just our physical environment, but our economy, our communities, and even our own mental well-being. It's about more than just aesthetics. It's about fundamentally changing our relationship with the spaces we inhabit every single day. At its most basic level, urban art is a powerful agent of transformation. Think of that neglected alleyway, that crumbling brick wall on a forgotten side street, or that monolithic gray concrete underpass you hurry through. These are the non-places of a city, the gaps in the urban fabric we're conditioned to ignore. A single, brilliantly executed mural can completely invert that reality. Suddenly, that dead space is alive with color, narrative, and emotion. A forgotten corner becomes a destination. This is the core principle of placemaking, the art of turning a functional space into a meaningful place, a location with a soul and an identity. The art reclaims the space for human experience, encouraging people to slow down, to look, and to connect with their surroundings. This transformation has a powerful ripple effect, one that can be measured in dollars and cents. The rise of art tourism is a testament to this. Cities that have invested in and nurtured their street art scenes have seen remarkable economic benefits. Look at the Wynwood Walls in Miami. What was once a district of neglected warehouses is now one of the most famous street art destinations in the world, drawing millions of visitors a year. These visitors don't just look at the art, they eat in local restaurants, shop in local boutiques, and stay in local hotels. The art becomes an engine for economic revitalization. Similarly, the East Side Gallery in Berlin, a preserved section of the Berlin Wall covered in murals, is not just a historical monument, but a massive cultural draw. In Bristol, England, the hometown of Banksy, you can take guided tours of the city's street art, a thriving microeconomy built entirely on the creative output on its walls. This demonstrates that investing in public art is not a frivolous expense. It's a strategic investment in a city's cultural capital and economic future, creating jobs and supporting small businesses. Beyond the economic impact lies something arguably more important: the impact on community. When art is created a community rather than just being placed it becomes a powerful tool for social cohesion. Community mural projects, where residents work alongside artists to design and paint a piece that reflects their shared history, values, or hopes for the future, are incredibly effective at building bonds. The process itself fosters dialogue and collaboration among neighbors who might not otherwise interact. The finished artwork then stands as a proud symbol of that collaboration. collaboration, a landmark that belongs to everyone. It gives a neighborhood a distinct visual identity, a source of pride that says, this is who we are, this is our story. This sense of ownership can be transformative, fostering a greater sense of safety and encouraging residents to take better care of their shared environment. It counteracts the anonymity of urban life, weaving a thread of shared identity through the concrete landscape. This is art as a catalyst for civic engagement. Furthermore, the urban canvas is perhaps the most democratic forum for public discourse we have. Unfiltered by gallery curators or media conglomerates, artists can speak directly to the people on issues that matter. A mural can be a headline, a protest sign, and a memorial all at once. Around the world, street art tackles social justice, environmental crises, political corruption, and human rights. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths on our way to work. A powerful portrait of a civil rights leader on the side of a community center is a constant reminder of an ongoing struggle. A depiction of endangered species on a wall facing a busy highway is a daily plea for environmental consciousness. This art sparks conversations. It can provoke, challenge, and inspire, turning a passive stroll into an active engagement with the pressing issues of our time. And the forms this interaction takes are becoming increasingly diverse. It's not just about murals anymore. Interactive installations like Candy Chang's famous Before I Die wall invite public participation, turning a wall into a collective repository of dreams and aspirations. Guerrilla art forms like yarn bombing soften hard urban edges with whimsical, knitted creations. Digital projections can temporarily transform a building's facade into a dynamic, moving spectacle. Each form engages with the city and its inhabitants in a unique way, proving that the potential for interaction is limitless. It all contributes to the psychological health of a city, fighting the monotony and alienation of modern urbanism with moments of surprise, beauty, and profound human connection. Block 3. Future of Public Art. We've seen how urban art has evolved from a whisper on a subway car to a roar that can define a city's identity, economy, and social fabric. It has become an indispensable part of the modern metropolis. But the city, like the art on its walls, is not a static entity. It is constantly changing, evolving, and adapting. So, as we stand on the cusp of unprecedented technological and social shifts, we have to ask, where does the urban canvas go from here? The future of public art is poised to be more dynamic, more interactive, and more deeply integrated into the very architecture of our lives than ever before. But it will also face a new set of complex challenges. The most dramatic evolution will undoubtedly be driven by technology. The static mural, a masterpiece of paint on brick, is about to get a digital upgrade. The first wave of this is already here, augmented reality, or AR. Imagine standing before a massive mural of a mythical creature. You hold up your phone, and through your screen, the creature blinks, its wings begin to beat, and it seemingly flies off the wall and into the street. AR animations bringing a static mural to life are transforming public art from a two-dimensional experience into a four-dimensional one. Artists are now embedding digital layers into their physical work, adding soundscapes, animations, and narrative elements that are only accessible through a device. This creates a treasure hunt, a secret world hidden in plain sight, encouraging a deeper and more playful engagement with the art. Beyond AR, we have the growing prevalence of projection mapping and light art. Instead of a permanent painting, artists can use powerful projectors to cast dynamic, evolving imagery onto the facades of entire buildings. A city hall can be transformed into a cascading waterfall. A historic landmark can appear to crumble and rebuild itself, all through the manipulation of light. These installations are often temporary, making them perfect for festivals and events, creating ephemeral moments of collective wonder without permanently altering the urban landscape. And then there's the speculative, yet inevitable, role of artificial intelligence. Will AI become a collaborator for urban artists, generating endless design possibilities? Could we see robotic arms, guided by an AI, painting vast, intricate murals with a precision no human could match? We might even witness responsive art, a digital mural whose colors and patterns shift in real time based on data like the weather, the flow of pedestrian traffic, or even the collective mood of the city as measured through social media sentiment. As our technology evolves, so does our environmental consciousness, and the future of urban art will be increasingly green. The environmental impact of materials like spray paint is a growing concern. In response, a new generation of artists is pioneering sustainable techniques. We're seeing a rise in eco-graffiti, where artists use mediums like moss, which can be grown in the shape of a design on a wall, creating a living, breathing piece of art that actually improves air quality. There's also reverse graffiti, where instead of adding paint, artists create images by selectively cleaning dirt and grime off of neglected surfaces, a purely subtractive and environmentally harmless method. We will see more installations built from recycled and reclaimed materials, and more art that integrates living components, like vertical gardens and plant life, blurring the line between art, architecture, and nature. This is art that doesn't just comment on the environment, but actively participates in healing it. However, this exciting future is not without its critical challenges. The biggest paradox of urban art is its relationship with gentrification. When artists move into an affordable, often neglected neighborhood and begin to beautify it, they make it cool. This attracts attention, investment, and eventually developers. Rents rise, and the very same residents who gave the neighborhood its original character are priced out. The art that was meant to celebrate a community can inadvertently become a catalyst for its displacement. Navigating this art-washing dilemma, how to revitalize a space without erasing its soul, is the single greatest challenge facing artists and city planners. Alongside this is the issue of commercialization. As brands recognize the authenticity and edge of street art, they are increasingly co-opting it for advertising. When a massive corporation commissions a mural that is little more than a giant ad, does it devalue the art form? This tension between artistic integrity and corporate sponsorship will continue to be a battleground for the soul of the movement. Finally, there's the question of preservation. Street art is, by its nature, often ephemeral. It's meant to fade, to be painted over, to be a temporary statement. So, when a Banksy piece appears, should it be covered in plexiglass and preserved, or should it be left to the elements and the will of the city? This debate pits the artwork's cultural value against the artist's original intent and the transient nature of the street itself. Looking ahead, the relationship between the artist and the city will continue to formalize. We will see more artists in residence programs, more public art master plans, and more integration of art into infrastructure projects from the earliest design stages. Art will no longer be an afterthought, but a fundamental component of what makes a city livable. The urban canvas is not finished. It will never be finished. It is a living, breathing document of our time, constantly being written, erased, and rewritten. It is the reflection of our struggles, the projection of our dreams, and the evidence of our creativity. The future promises a city that is more responsive, more sustainable, and more beautiful, a true gallery without walls, waiting for us to step outside and experience it.